我記得3年前呢
She'd twice stood at the very top of TVB, taking home the title of most popular female character amid the thunderous applause of Hong Kong's entire entertainment industry. It sounded glamorous, yes, but that so-called queen of TVB glory would become a stain that followed her for the rest of her life. In the end, what does a woman have to trade away to climb to that height? And why did all of Hong Kong turn its back on her at once, branding her a homewrecker? That name is Sisley Choi, an actress whose name alone is enough to summon an entire web of love, resentment, money, and scandal. Because every time her name appears in the headlines, people aren't talking about her performances. They're talking about which woman she's just left heartbroken, and which marriage she's just pushed to the edge of collapse. Today, we invite you to turn back the pages of the long, tangled record of love affairs belonging to the Queen of Controversy from the Fragrant Harbor. Let's begin at the peak. In 2020, thanks to her role as Deanie Chu in Legal Mavericks 2, Sisley Choi took home the title of Most Popular Female Character at the TVB Anniversary Awards. Ironically, the public placed her among the most notorious TV queens in name only in history. Sisley Choi herself once said that her inbox was rarely free of harassing messages. Someone even openly offered 2 million Hong Kong dollars just to sleep with her, about 255,000 US dollars. Her private life also carried many low notes that could make people feel a pang of sympathy. She once huddled inside a shabby wooden house of around 2,000 square feet. She once poured 2 million Hong Kong dollars into fighting for one tiny parking space. And she went through a period where she didn't even know whether she'd have enough to eat the next day. The figure of 2 million for a parking spot? It sounds absurd, but in Hong Kong, it's real. In a city packed with people and starved for land, a parking space in a central district can sometimes cost as much as an entire home in the suburbs, because what made people remember her was never her acting, but the nickname, Queen of Controversy in Hong Kong showbiz. Her list of boyfriends was so long it could wear out your fingers counting, and among them were more than a few men who'd already settled down with families of their own. She was the type who, once she fell in love, would throw herself in head first. Once she liked someone, no boundary could stop her, even if it meant becoming the third person in someone else's relationship. The strange thing was that, instead of lowering her head in shame, she held her chest high and treated it like a trophy. The incident in which she allegedly climbed into the bed of Sam, a tycoon close to casino boss Alvin Chow, remains a dish that public opinion has never allowed to go cold. And as for her romantic chapter with Vincent Wong, there's no need to say more. It left audiences utterly exhausted. People kept asking the same question. Just how much self-respect does a woman have to let go of before she can do things like that? To find the answer to that question, let's look back at her life. Sisley Choi was born in 1991 to a father who worked as a police officer. In 2004, her parents sent her to New Zealand under a work-study arrangement. Her days overseas were far from rosy. She delivered food. She lowered her head to wash dishes in restaurants. Then she worked washing cars for hire, tasting every shade of hardship along the way. During her school years, she briefly had a romance with a German boy. But when she returned to Hong Kong, the thread connecting them was severed by distance. Then, in 2013, during a holiday back home, she saw posters for the Miss Hong Kong pageant plastered all over the streets. On a sudden impulse, she signed up and ended up winning the runner-up title. At first, she built herself an image as an educated, refined young lady from a good background, someone cultured and well-read. But before long, she was exposed for allegedly falsifying her academic credentials. After the storm quieted down, she slipped into TVB's acting training class as an auditing student. Once she finished the course, she signed a contract and officially stepped into the acting world. Barely after getting her feet wet in the industry, Sisley Choi was immediately caught up in rumors with choreographer Shing Mak. Their work gave them many chances to be close, and they became so intimate that the press claimed they'd already met each other's families. The problem was, she was always surrounded by a crowd of pursuers, so many that even Shing Mak had to stand in line and wait his turn if he wanted to get close. Over time, the choreographer grew discouraged. Eventually, he used the excuse that she wasn't focused on her career, accusing her of spending her days stirring up one romantic scandal after another. By 2014, While filming Officer Geomancer, she got to know Fred Cheng, a TVB singer and actor born in 1983. At the time, he'd already been in a relationship for years with Leslie Chiang, the daughter of veteran actor Paul Chun. Back when Fred Cheng was still a nobody, it was Leslie Chiang who'd begged her father to bring him resources and opportunities. To put it bluntly, she'd treated him with every bit of loyalty and affection she had. And yet, the paparazzi caught Sisley Choi walking hand in hand with Fred Cheng as they went to watch Sodagreen perform. That intrusion shattered Leslie Chiang. The arguments came. Then the breakup. In the end, the poor girl lost everything she'd fought for, fell into depression, and at one point was said to have been close to seeking death. Just try putting yourself in Leslie Chiang's position, pouring out both affection and family reputation to lift someone up, only to receive 2 words in return: betrayal. And Fred Cheng himself was no innocent party either. He'd once been involved in ambiguous rumors with Mandy Wong, and then Ginny Ung. You could say he was also a well-known toxic playboy in the entertainment world. Later, unable to withstand the pressure from public opinion, the two quickly denied everything, saying they were only ordinary friends. After Fred Cheng broke up with Leslie Chiang, he and Sisley Choi didn't go anywhere either. He married heiress Stephanie Ho, while Sisley calmly showed up at that very wedding. Sisley Choi's love life never seemed to have a quiet pause. As soon as one story ended, she'd already set her sights on another target. While filming the youth drama Young Charioteers, she became caught up in suspicions of a fake on-screen romance turning real with Him Law, born in 1984. He'd originally worked as a lifeguard. One day, he followed a friend to an audition at a film company, caught a producer's eye, and became an actor. At that time, Him Law had been dating Tavia Young for years, and the two were already preparing to get engaged. Just when everything seemed settled, trouble arrived. On an outdoor film set, he and Sisley Choi joked around, touched each other intimately, and behaved no differently from a real couple. Sensing that something was wrong, Tavia Young repeatedly made the trip to the film crew to make her presence known. Seeing the two go further and further, she announced that the wedding would be postponed so she could reconsider, while also forcing her fiancé to delete every contact detail he had for Sisley Choi. Him Law tried hard to explain himself, insisting he was innocent and blaming the production team for staging the scandal to attract attention, saying it wasn't his fault. That excuse, the crew staged it for publicity, was so familiar it had almost become a catchphrase among Hong Kong artists whenever they were caught red-handed. In the end, Tavia Young still swallowed the humiliation and agreed to build a home with him. But it didn't stop there. Her next rumored target was Owen Chung, born in 1987, an actor who graduated from the Hong Kong Design Institute and was dating Roxanne Tong at the time. The two worked together in Legal Mavericks, and after a kissing scene, Sisley Choi casually leaned her head on Owen Chung's shoulder to watch the playback, ignoring all the prying eyes around them. What she didn't expect was that the behind-the-scenes camera had captured the entire moment, sending the whole crew into laughter. Then came Ruko Chan, born in 1977, an actor, host, and singer who'd come out of TVB's training class. In 2015, paparazzi spotted him and Sisley Choi at an auto repair shop, their gestures openly intimate, before the two went straight back to the actor's home together. Ruko Chan was no simple man either. Every time he tried to pursue a woman, he used the exact same trick, using cars as an excuse to start a conversation and get close. Before the story with Ruko Chan had even reached a clear conclusion, she'd already shifted to Tony Hung, born in 1983, an actor and host whose official girlfriend at the time was Natalie Tong. The two played the leads in the period comedy Recipes to Live By, and from there, they displayed their ambiguous connection both on-screen and off-screen. Natalie Tong, of course, felt deeply wronged. She quietly flew to South Korea alone to clear her mind, and Tony Hung had to coax her again and again before the relationship was patched up. Who would have expected that by the time he filmed The Learning Curve of a Warlord, he'd fall right back into the same old habit, continuing to touch Sisley Choi intimately and whisper closely with her. This time, Natalie Tong ran out of patience and decisively broke up with the toxic playboy. When reporters pressed Sisley Choi, asking whether she was the reason the couple had broken up, she awkwardly replied that she was in the middle of a meal and it wasn't convenient to answer. then quickly slipped away. By September 2016, it was Adrian Chow's turn to go public with her at the movies. On ordinary days, the two were also seen with arms around each other's shoulders, looking extremely affectionate. They even attended Him-Law's wedding together and posted intimate photos online. And yet that rumor dissolved as quickly as morning mist over Victoria Harbor once the sun rises, leaving behind almost no trace. During the days when she was filming a television drama, she was once said to have quietly slipped into Adrian Chow's hotel room and spent the night there. He later indirectly admitted that something had happened, yet still insisted that the two were only friends. She also left behind an anecdote involving Tsui Siu-ping, born in 1988, a host and actor who pursued her with great passion. When she went to the United Kingdom to film a new program, Tsui Siu-ping paid out of his own pocket to fly after her, taking care of her in every little way. As for whether he ever managed to move her heart, that remains an unanswered question to this day. In 2017, her role as Deanie Chu in Legal Mavericks forced her to wear braces that deliberately made her look less attractive. She was crowned the most beautiful buck-toothed girl in history, while her acting still took the full force of criticism. Starring alongside her was Vincent Wong, born in 1983, playing a blind lawyer. Throughout the filming period, the two shared a room on set and locked the door from the inside. As for what happened behind that door, people were free to understand it however they wanted. That incident ignited a wave of shock. Vincent Wong was already married to actress Yo-Yo Chen, but from the moment Sisley Choi appeared, their marriage began to shake like a house on the verge of collapse. And this was the turning point that truly made the Hong Kong public turn its back on her. In the previous chapters, after all, those men were only in love or dating. This time, it involved a legally recognized marriage. At Vincent Wong's birthday party, she busied herself running back and forth like the real hostess of the evening. The two were also caught on a late-night date, with the actor staying inside her apartment for a full 2 hours, more than enough for the public to let their imaginations run wild. Faced with a stack of clear photographic evidence, Vincent Wong could only weakly explain that he just happened to pass by. As for Sisley Choi, there was no need for her to dodge anything. From on-screen to real life, she clung to him like taffy. In 2018, when Vincent Wong stepped onto the stage to accept the Most Popular Male Character Award at the TVB Anniversary Awards, Sisley Choi even interrupted her own interview and rushed straight toward the awards area. This immediately made the public ask one question: why was she so eager? Sitting below the stage, she looked strangely excited, her eyes constantly throwing flirtatious glances toward him. Meanwhile, Yo-Yo Chen sat there watching, her face darkening. In front of the press, the wife only released one icy sentence, roughly saying that no one was required to be someone's wife for an entire lifetime, enough to show that her faith in the marriage had completely cracked. The longing gaze that Sisley Choi sent toward Vincent Wong from afar led the Hong Kong press to give her the nickname Husband Watching Rock, meaning a stone standing there waiting for someone else's husband. Under the pressure of public outrage and the media storm, she finally seemed to realize that Vincent Wong was a troublesome, forbidden zone. So she turned her attention towards single colleagues instead, such as male host Dixon Yu, for whom she was said to have patiently grown out her hair just to please him. The next name to fall into her sights was Hubert Wu, born in 1990, a singer and actor who emerged from talent competitions. The paparazzi collected quite a bit of dating evidence between the two. He often drove her around, and she even appeared at a family gathering of the male singer. And yet both of them stubbornly insisted they were only good friends. By 2020, Sisley Choi had found a far sturdier pillar to lean on: Sam, a well-known tycoon and close friend of casino boss Alvin Chow. TVB salaries had long been infamous for being painfully low, to the point where even the artists themselves complained, while the cost of living in Hong Kong was dizzyingly expensive. As a second-tier star, her income was, at best, barely enough to live frugally. It's just that Sisley Choi chose a far more blatant escape route than most. After filming a commercial for Sun City Group, she was suspected of developing feelings with Sam. As soon as the shoot ended, paparazzi photographed a luxury 7-seat vehicle coming to pick her up, and the owner was none other than Sam. Suddenly, her spending shot up to staggering levels, prompting the press to swarm in and investigate where the money was coming from. They discovered that she'd bought an apartment in Lohas Park in Sungkwan-o, while the luxury car entering and leaving the residential parking lot still carried that familiar license plate. This tycoon wasn't only filthy rich, he also loved showing it off. Other people hung paintings or displayed bookshelves in their homes. On Sam's walls, there were thick stacks of cash piled up one after another, while his garage was lined with cars from Lamborghini to Ferrari. From the day she drew close to Sam, Sisley Choi became noticeably more generous. She spent 8 million Hong Kong dollars, about 1 million US dollars, on a luxury apartment, then pulled out another 2 million Hong Kong dollars, around 255,000 US dollars, for a parking space. The exact kind of expense she'd once struggled so hard to reach. Her shopping habits also transformed completely. Bags costing hundreds of thousands of Hong Kong dollars were purchased without even a blink. It was also around this time that her relationship with Hubert Wu officially collapsed. The three-person battle ended with a quiet climb into bed, sending her straight into the arms of a tycoon. Hubert Wu was still left blindfolded, confused, and muttering that he himself also wanted to know who her new boyfriend really was. As for her, she remained faithful to her familiar 3-no principle. No public acknowledgement, no rejection, no responsibility, leaving Hubert Wu holding the same tired old answer he'd already heard far too many times. At the 2021 TVB Awards, Sisley Choi and Vincent Wong strode hand in hand down the red carpet, leaving Yo-Yo Chen standing alone in a corner like a stranger. When Sisley stepped onto the stage to receive the Most Popular Female Character Award for the second year in a row, Yo-Yo Chen watched coldly from a distance, her eyes filled with disgust. The faces of Natalie Tong, Tony Hung's ex-girlfriend, and Charmaine Shea, who was also there that day, carried deep expressions full of unspoken meaning. And then Bosco Wong appeared. TVB tried desperately to pair him with Sisley Choi and market them aggressively as an on-screen couple. But most netizens shook their heads, believing she was tarnishing the actor's image. Bosco Wong himself didn't even bother to play along. More than once, he openly called her out, with his disdain and contempt written clearly across his face. All in all, Sisley Choi had average beauty and average acting skills. But her greatest talent? Stirring up controversy to draw attention. Whenever the media started looking away, she'd personally drag her romantic past back into the open, just to salvage whatever warmth and spotlight still remained. Ultimately, what haunted her may never have been men at all. It was the fear of being forgotten. Some people say she deserves blame for trampling over the happiness of so many others. Others feel pity for someone born unable to endure loneliness. The press called her a homewrecker. Public opinion threw every kind of stone at her, until the name Sisley Choi became almost synonymous with scandal itself. But there's also another view, that people have placed a harsher moral yardstick on her shoulders than on anyone else in the industry, and that if she were a man, perhaps the whole thing would never have exploded so loudly. So between these two sides, where do you stand? Does she truly deserve to be condemned to that extent? Or is society being too harsh on a woman simply because she refuses to live inside the mold people want for her?